Welcome back, everyone. We're kicking off the year with a story that's, well, it's got a little bit of everything, prophecy, politics, public outcry. And it's all happening over in Ghana.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that just grabs you, right? I mean, a prophet predicting the deaths of multiple politicians, and not just any politicians, but members of parliament. That's some serious stuff.
No kidding. And the public reaction, wow, it's like the whole country's been thrown into a whirlwind of debate and speculation. So today we're diving into an article that's called Prophet Predicts Death of Multiple Ghanaian MPs and trying to understand just what's going on over there and, maybe what it means for the rest of the world.
Because let's face it, this kind of story, it's not just a Ghanaian issue. It raises questions about the role of religion in politics, the power of belief, and yeah, a lot of other things that we'll get into.
Definitely. So let's start with the basics. Who is this prophet and what exactly did he say? The article tells us his name is Prophet Eric Bowen.
Right, and he's the leader of Rainhouse Chapel International, which is a charismatic Christian church with a pretty big following in Ghana.
So not just some random guy on the street corner, this is a figure with some serious clout.
Exactly. He's been known to make prophecies before, but this one has really gotten people talking, and I mean, you can understand why.
I mean, predicting the death of anyone is a bold move, but multiple MPs. So according to the article, he made this prediction during a live radio interview on Kingdom FM.
And that's what really makes it fascinating, right? Imagine being that radio host, Fifi Pratt, I think the article said her name was. Suddenly, you're live on air, and your guest drops a bombshell like that.
Talk about an awkward moment. So he says, these MPs are going to die within the year. He doesn't give specific names or dates or anything.
Not in the article, no. It's more like a general warning.
Which, in a way, makes it even more unsettling, right? Because now everyone's wondering who he could be talking about, and, people are probably looking over their shoulders a bit.
Yeah, you almost can't help but speculate, can you? The human mind wants to fill in the blanks.
And speaking of speculation, the article says Bowen is claiming these deaths are divine intervention, not just random accidents. It's like he's saying some higher power is involved.
Which, again, taps into that deep religious vein that runs through Ghanaian society. I mean, for a lot of people there, the idea of divine intervention isn't far-fetched at all.
Makes you wonder if maybe this is why his prophecy has gotten so much traction. I mean, if this were, say, a politician making this kind of statement, would people be taking it as seriously?
That's a great question, and I honestly don't know the answer. It's interesting to think about.
But the article says, Bowen also stresses that prayer is the key to changing this outcome. So it's not like a set-in-stone death sentence.
Right. There's this element of hope, a possibility of intervention. He's basically saying that if enough people pray fervently for these MPs, maybe, just maybe, this tragedy can be averted.
Okay, so that adds another layer to this whole thing. He's not just predicting doom and gloom. He's giving people something to do, a way to maybe change the course of events.
Exactly. And I think that's a key part of understanding why people are reacting the way they are. It's not just fear and uncertainty. There's also this call to action, a sense of agency.
So it's less about these people are definitely going to die and more about we need to pray for these people. That may be a better way to think about it.
Possibly. I mean, the wording in the article is pretty vague, so it's open to interpretation. But I think you're right. The emphasis on prayer definitely changes the tone of the message.
And speaking of reactions, the article does mention that there's been a pretty mixed bag of responses to this prophecy.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. Some people, as you might expect, completely buy into it. They believe Bowen is a true prophet and that his words should be taken very seriously.
Right. For them, this is a divine warning that needs to be heeded.
Exactly. But then you have those who are far more skeptical, maybe even dismissive of the whole thing. They might question Bowen's motives or just not believe in prophecy in general.
And then I'm guessing there's probably a whole range of folks in between, right? Not sure what to believe, trying to make sense of it all.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this isn't a simple issue. It's complex.
Yeah.
And people's beliefs and perspectives are going to vary widely.
And I bet it's even more complicated for those MPs who are now living under this cloud of prophecy. Imagine knowing that a prominent religious leader has predicted your death and that a significant portion of the population believes him.
I can only imagine the pressure that must put on them. The article doesn't go into any personal stories, but you have to wonder how it's impacting their lives, their families, their work.
And what about the political fallout? Could this prophecy be used to manipulate voters or influence policy decisions? I mean, it's not hard to imagine a scenario where someone tries to capitalize on this situation for their own gain.
Unfortunately, that's always a risk when you have this kind of intersection between